Thank you for pressing play on episode 63 of the Inside Deschutes County podcast. Wherever you might be and however you might be listening, thank you for making us a part of your day. You can subscribe on any podcast platform, and you can also find us at deschutes.org/podcast.
Deschutes County is an amazing place to live.
Ease of access.
Work and play.
Great place to raise a family.
I love the weather and the high desert.
At Deschutes County, we provide excellent service.
Beautiful.
We're here to help you.
Deschutes County is the heart of Oregon.
Everyone wants to be here.
Welcome to the Inside Deschutes County podcast. I'm Eric Breon. Well, today we're catching up with a familiar voice, Jackie Wilson, our community outreach coordinator with Deschutes County Solid Waste is here, and Jackie has been very busy helping folks understand the county's expanding recycling options and the overall broader modernization effort that's underway, and I'm very excited to have her back. Jackie, thanks for joining us again.
Oh, Eric, I'm so happy to be here again. It's always so fun.
I imagine this is a busy time of year for you. Lots of waste and recycling generated during the holidays.
Oh, so much.
It's busy all the time.
It is, and the landfill is a busy place, and so trying to manage and mitigate waste is always a busy job.
Lots of rule changes. It kind of like ebbs and flows, I think, as to what's happening out there. I always find it's something different with you guys.
Right? There's always something going on with the Department of Solid Waste right now.
Well, some changes underway in regard to recycling. Can you walk us through? How do we call it? It's the Modernization Act that's kind of putting some of these things into place. And now you can recycle some previously hard to recycle items, right?
Exactly. And really, we're trying to build the idea of confidence in the recycling and that it does make a difference, because now recycling is staying within Oregon, and we're really trying to make it so the systems are set so that our recycling is staying within local markets and that everything that we're trying to recycle is getting recycled.
Well, we'll tease our listeners a little bit. We're going to play a game in a little while.
It's gonna be
lot of
great.
pressure.
There's a lot of pressure on you.
Yes, a lot of pressure because I'm going to look like an idiot answering these questions. But talk a little bit about kind of what are these hard to recycle items and how do they go about getting them recycled?
Right. Well, so in the past, there's been items that, and we called them for many years, the contaminants that were in our mixed recycling. And what we're seeing now through a lot of the work that's been put in with this new Recycling Modernization Act is we're opening up recycling markets through these new recycling centers, these recycle-on centers that we have. And Deschutes County was lucky enough to be some of the first communities in the state that got some of them. And we now have them at all of our county transfer stations.
So big containers, right, are now in place at the recycling area?
Exactly, yeah. And these were funded through the Recycling Modernization Act. So funds that come into this from the producers of some of these materials, that money then goes to getting these containers and then helping to move the materials to where they're going.
So what are we talking about? We're talking about things like, I don't know, like plastic.
Like the weird plastic.
It's the
So like,
things
what do we
that
do?
you threw into the recycling thing that weren't supposed to be there, right? Or at least some of them are.
Exactly. And some of the biggest things we've seen in the mixed recycling carts is people would collect their recyclables in plastic bags and have those plastic bags. And part of it is the confusion with these recycling identification codes, right? We have these chasing triangles. So the general public feels like everything that's made of plastic can be recycled because it's got a recycling symbol on it, or try to find the numbers. And we're trying to just really break it down to the consumer so they can know really what goes in mixed recycling and what does not. And one of the hardest ones is plastic bags. People have tons of them and like this plastic film. And now this is one of those things that we can put into these recycle-on centers, and we're collecting quite a bit of plastic film.
So walk me through this. So if now what people need to do is collect these things at home that are now accepted and kind of put them aside and then bring them into the recycle area?
Yeah, absolutely. And so at any of our recycling centers that we have at the transfer station, so that's where general people will bring in, especially if you have, large cardboard boxes, you can put those in your mixed recycling. But when you have huge things, it's hard to fit all that in your cart at home. So that's something that you would save and bring to the transfer station so you can bring it to the recycling center. Now we have a little special area. So it's beyond just cardboard and mixed recycling. Now we can take things such as plastic film. And then the other funny things is like those rigid plastic containers that are holding 6-packs of beer and pop and things like that. Those are getting collected. And I'm always amazed with how many of those are in the bins in the
Still.
Recycle On Center.
Wow.
Tons of those. And so that's a great thing. So people are starting to collect them and bring them to the transfer stations.
So what else, Jackie? Is there, things off the top of your head that people can now recycle that they couldn't?
Right. Well, and some of the things are things that they always could recycle, but we don't want them in the mixed recycling carts anymore. So
Gotcha.
that was a big one we were keeping out is shredded paper. And so now people can still bring shredded paper to any of the transfer stations. We've got a spot at the recycling centers, and you take all of your shredded paper, just put it in a paper bag or even in the bag that you bring it to. And we have these large containers that will be able to hold those materials, and then we'll be able to pack them up and ship them to different companies that will actually turn them into new products.
Are you getting positive feedback from the community about this is great? If we wanted to do things like this, we wanted to recycle these things, and now we can?
We are. In fact, I was just out there the other day, and folks were moving in their cardboard boxes and had a bunch of plastic foam. I was like, excuse me, did you know that you could now bring this over to the Recycle On Center? And these folks were like, no, that's fantastic. So I think just the increase of recyclability that people are starting to see that we're collecting materials that we couldn't before and that there's just a spot to put things, I think it brings that sense of knowing things are going to the right places.
It's great because now you can not only recycle the common things that everybody thought of. You've got the household hazardous waste area out there. Now you can bring more stuff to recycle. You can recycle a lot.
You can recycle a lot. And I will still say that whole idea of reduction is number one. But when you have the materials, the next thing is what can we do before disposal into our landfill, knowing that it's filling up pretty quickly. And that's going to be a big thing we're working on in the county is where do we put our waste? And so if people really think like there actually is no such thing as away, everything has to go somewhere. And if we can get these materials before going into the large landfill, can we put them somewhere else so that they can be made into new materials?
Is that what the modernization, the goal of the Modernization Act is from your perspective, is just expansion?
It's really making recycling just easier and consistent, right?
Okay.
So people know and that's part of it is throughout the entire state of Oregon, we can recycle the same things. Whether you're
rules are
down
the same.
in Klamath Falls or up in Portland or in Deschutes County, there's not that confusion. So we still have a lot of education for all of the visitors that come to Deschutes County. But for those that live here and the residents and just within the state of Oregon, it's the same. So if you're coming over here from Eugene or Lane County, you're coming in and being like, oh yeah, I know exactly what I can recycle within the state of Oregon.
Do you have any tips for listeners in terms of do they need, I have some of this stuff and it's a mess. It's got to be rinsed out, I imagine. Anything else that you can recommend for people? Does it need to be separated into all the things, or can they just put it into one big bag and bring it to you, or what's the deal?
Right. I think just having different bags to collect things. I know at home I'm collecting a lot of kind of the smaller plastic bags like that my apples will come in or little things like that so that I can bring it over to the transfer station. And with the waste haulers providing the Recycle On, I think people were already getting ready and wanting to have these different items. They don't want to throw things away. And that's part of teaching folks is like, cool, you don't need to throw everything away. You do have to separate things. You can't just throw everything in your cart. It's not an extra garbage bag. We need to have the commodities, but we're expanding them so that you can really do more with the objects that you have before they're getting tossed.
And this is all about diversion, right? Getting stuff out of the landfill.
It truly is, and it's increasing diversion rates across the state. So a lot of this was led by the Oregon DEQ.
I was going to ask who's making these decisions.
Right. It was the DEQ and a whole lot of other community members that came together, and a lot of the counties and folks that are in waste management making this happen.
What has the solid waste team done to prepare for these changes? Are there more people out there now? Are there signs? Like, what's obviously the containers and outreach? What are you guys doing to kind of spread the word?
Right. Well, we definitely
and be ready for people who are coming in.
Exactly. So all of our transfer station staff have been ready and know what these new materials are. We've been meeting with our attendants. So we've been prepping for this for a long time. Everything came into started in July, and now we've been slowly dialing it up. And so the haulers have sent new recycling guides to anyone who gets trash services. We have new signage that's going into all of our transfer stations, and then just hiring me so that I can be there to help educate folks has been a big step.
We need you. That's important. Are you getting lots of questions from people?
We do, and we're getting a lot of calls from people, especially with the shredded paper. That was a big one I saw a lot. People are like, well, wait, you don't take that anymore? And that's where it's like, no, we do. Just don't put it in your cart because it becomes a confetti issue, I think, in most recycling centers. And so, yeah, just folks really want to know, like, I have all these things. What can I do with them, and how can I source separate my materials?
Is there one thing that you find that a recycling maybe mistake that people make over and over and over again that they can, if listening to this, stop doing?
Right. Well, the biggest one we see, and I understand why it's very confusing, is people are trying to look at
Pizza boxes.
Well, now we can
Now you
recycle
can take
those.
right?
And that was because of a huge study that was done. And so they did a study and saw that the minimal grease, again, if that pizza box is super uber gross and covered in food, please put it in the garbage. We'd rather it go into the landfill than sit around in a recycling center. But if it has minimal grease, they found that that grease doesn't affect the fibers at all, so that it can be recycled into new paper items. Biggest thing I see is because people like the numbers are those plastic clamshells that you get your blueberries in and your salad mixes in. They have a number 1 on it. It's got a recycling symbol on it. So everyone's like, well, it's number 1. I can recycle. I can recycle number 1s, right? And that's where the confusion lies in recycling, is that, yes, we can recycle some number 1s, but really for plastic, it's plastic bottles, tubs, and jugs. Once you get that clamshell container or any plastic that doesn't fit into that category, that's when you can think, is this something new that can go into these new hard-to-recycle items? And if not, it's still something that needs to be trashed. So clamshells currently are not in our Recycle-On Center. They're a hard-to-recycle item. We can't figure out, there's not a market for them. That's the hard thing with recycling. If there's not a company that can take that material and turn it into something, it is just garbage until we can turn it into something new.
You know, the one that always trips me up are those boxes that have that kind of sheen coating on it, like a Wheat Thins type box or
Wheat Thin.
Wheat Thins. You know, like the microwavable dinners or things like that you still can't, right?
Well, and that's the hard one too. Again, and listeners out there, recycling shouldn't be that hard. It is a little challenging. We can all figure it out though. So if it's a box that is not meant to hold anything wet or anything that can melt, right? So the sheen would be on a coffee cup. That sheen would be in an ice cream container. Well, those are meant to hold liquids. They have something that's repelling the water to make it hydrophobic, water hating. So it's pushing it away. That material can't pulp in the sense to turn into anything once it's in the recycling center. But if it's a box and you can tear it, even if it has that sheen like a paperboard, your Cheez-It container, your cereal boxes, those have always been recyclable. The confusion comes between the frozen and the non-frozen items. And so really if it's a frozen container that's holding something that could melt or be lost in shipments, that's something to just throw away.
Yeah, that one trips me up. And then coffee cups.
And that's a big thing that we see in everything. Again, because it's made of paper, it can be recycled, right? But no, it's got this material in it called wet strength that really is, that's what's that repelling. With kids, I often like to say, if you can put the paper in your mouth and turn it into a spitball, it's recyclable.
That's a good tip.
That's
a really good tip. Don't do it.
Don't do it. But think
But
that
it's a good
through,
tip,
right?
yeah.
You're like, oh, yeah, no, this is still just a papery product. It's a great commodity.
Well, I think, and I don't want to put any businesses on blast, but I think that the struggle that I have sometimes is when you go to a coffee place, they put out the recycling bins for you to drop your coffee cup into. It's even circular, so you just drop it right in. And you're like, oh, I can do that at home and I can do that elsewhere. And of course, I don't know how they're divvying it up and disposing of their waste and recyclables, but it's ingrained in my head that now I can recycle that coffee cup.
If it fits in the hole, it can go in there.
Right.
Right. And those containers, I would think, are for like plastic water bottles and aluminum cans is what they're trying to collect there. But again, if things aren't clearly signed and communicated.
It's a coffee place. And that's my beef.
Yeah, no, because it's
that's my-
confused. And again, this is part of the stuff that makes it confusing. Those that might not know the true like recyclability of things, they put out a recycling bin, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I can recycle those in my business." So that's what we're working on, and with different business presentations, I think we can help get even the business community know more about what can and cannot be recycled.
Well, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about the holidays because we are almost the middle of December. What's one reminder you'd share with people about Christmas trees, lights, electronics, batteries? You
Yeah.
probably have more than one reminder.
So many reminders, right? And the biggest thing is remember to keep any tanglers, any wires, things like that out of your recycling bin, but that we do take them at transfer stations. So those electronics that you're getting new ones and you're ready to get rid of the old ones, bring them to our transfer station. We can take those old iPads and phones and we can take those Christmas lights, we can recycle those there, not in your mixed recycling, which is great. And then with trees, our compost centers and transfer stations are taking trees when you're done with them over the holidays as well.
And there's organizations out there too that will come and pick them up from we want to kind of give them a shout out too.
Absolutely. Those Boy Scouts of America
Yep.
do a really great job. It's a big fundraiser for them every year, and they work really hard to collect those trees from homes.
Well, you are the first guest that has brought bags of stuff into our little studio here on Wall Street. We'll get to that in a minute, but I know we wanted to play a little bit of put Eric on the spot.
Absolutely, with a recycling game.
It's a game that we're calling Trash or Recycle. We thought long and hard about that name.
We sure did.
Trash or Recycle.
Well, because
So-
that's what you have to do is to tell me whether or not this item is going to be trash or recycled.
All right, so how is this going to work, Jackie? Because I'm terrible at this. I live alone. I don't have a lot of kids. I recycle bottles and cans and glass. That's kind of my...
Which is great. That's a start.
And now pizza boxes.
And now pizza boxes that you can go in there. So with that, you're going to learn about some of the other things and some of the new things that you can put in. And this is for your mixed recycling. So those of you out there that have a large 96-gallon recycling cart, this is going to be what can go in it and what goes in the trash, which we want to keep out of those carts. And there's a lot more that goes in the cart that you might not know.
I'm going to get so many of these wrong.
It's pretty fun. There's 10 of them.
There's
We can go 10.
the pressure here. Okay. All right, trash or recycle.
Are you
Jackie
ready for
Wilson.
it?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, you're ready.
Okay.
We're going to click that I'm ready. So, the first one, 0 out of 1, styrofoam. I'm a protector type, always supporting those closest to me.
Well, I think I'm pretty good at this one. That's trash.
That is trash. That is. And the interesting thing about that,
Got it.
it goes into the trash. And with that, our both waste haulers for public services and Cascade Disposal will take styrofoam at their offices, and then they're collecting it, saving it all, and then they're taking it to a place that can kind of make it nice and hard and send it somewhere else. But that goes in your trash.
All right, 1 of 1. All right. What do we got?
Next, cardboard drink boxes. They're shiny. They hold liquids, but they're in a can and they're in a box. What do we do with those 6-packs, 12-packs containers of cardboard drink boxes?
You know, I'm always tripped up on this one because I tend to recycle that one.
Well, guess what? Those you can recycle.
Yes.
2 out of 2.
That's good. That's good. All right.
Our next one, this is a big one. It's our plastic produce containers for berries, herbs, etc.
All right. Well, we just talked about this one.
We did, so you should know. But, I mean, we all make mistakes and learn from them.
It's trash.
This is trash.
That's right. Gotta cheer some of these answers.
Yahoo. Okay, our next one. Metal cans and lids. And so this is going to be like when you're opening your soup
Like this
can.
is soup can.
This is a soup can.
I get tripped up on this one too.
Dinty Moore beef stew. It's metal. It's delightful.
Yeah. This is
What do you
is
think?
trash.
This is trash? Oh, no, it is not trash.
You can recycle it.
You can recycle it. So any of those metal cans that you're opening up I know. It's okay. We forgive you.
I'm telling you.
Well, we don't get a deposit for those, but
So
those
do you have to take the labels off?
you do not need to take the labels off. That's a great one. But once you open them up, but you do need to give them a quick rinse. Make sure that they're pretty clean. And I like to say, clean enough that you would leave it on the floor of your kitchen for a week and not worry about anything coming into your home.
Yeah, this is the story of my life because I always get that wrong. Okay, next one.
Okay. Plastic takeout containers and utensils.
Yeah, I think you're recycling. I mean, I'm sorry, you're trash in that one.
I am trash in that one. Woohoo! So those are some too. They have that recycling symbol on them, but because it's just this like single-use food service, that's something. Into the trash with that.
All right.
Okay, we ready for our next one?
Well, we kind of talked about this one too, a little bit.
A little bit. This one's true, yeah.
It's got that little
Oh,
sheen
but this
on
is
it.
going to make it a little harder, right?
Yeah,
so,
I'm struggling
right, because
already.
you should. So, like the containers that have your milk in it, your soup broth, other
I think
liquids.
it's trash. I think it's trash.
Oh no!
Oh, what?
I know, and these are the ones that make it a little harder, right? Because this is, again, we were just talking about them being hydrophobic. These containers have this weird little plastic liner that can get pulled out of it. So when you're opening up your soup broth containers and have your milk cartons or orange juice containers at home, those now can be recycled. And that's something new thanks to the recycling modernization. Okay. Are you ready for another one?
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll see if this one messes you up too, because
Yeah, it's probably going to.
It's the shiny. This is going to be a cardboard takeout box. So you go to a food cart and you get your food in it. It's got that shiny layer on it. It's a box.
It's trash.
That one is trash.
Yay!
Right? And a hard one with this one is just thinking if it's single use, right? It's meant to be single use, that's generally going to be garbage. If it's meant to hold it on a shelf, hopefully it could be recycled. Okay, moving on. We're now at number 5. 5
I
out
would
of
have
7.
no idea on this.
Yep, and this is a tough one. This is a plastic bucket. So it's like your 2 to 5 gallon plastic buckets that we have.
Yeah. Trash.
Trash, and the answer is, oh no.
You can recycle those? Really?
You can,
Okay.
and what's great, this is part of our new Recycle On Center too. If it's a larger plastic bucket that you don't want to put in your mixed recycling just because it's too big,
It just
bring it down to us.
It just to me just seems almost too big to recycle.
Right? And that's where Bring It to the Recycle On Center.
Okay, yeah. All right.
That's
Hard to
where we-
recycle items.
Hard to recycle items, but if it fits in your container, then you can put it in there.
Okay.
Okay, this is another kind of hard one. It's a plastic personal care product so that your shampoo comes in, your liquid hand wash, your laundry detergents even.
I would recycle that.
I would recycle that too.
Yes.
And these are
Yes.
things too. Rinse out. Again, any plastic, anything you're putting in the recycling carts, give them a rinse.
Okay.
Okay, we're moving right along. 6 out of 9. Clean foil.
Clean foil. You made that distinction.
I sure did make that distinction. If it's been covering your lasagna and it's covered in
Cheese.
sauce and cheese, please put that in the garbage. Again, think of sitting on your floor. If you
So
have
let
a
me
little,
give you my answer.
Okay.
Clean, you recycle it.
woohoo!
Okay.
And that's one of those new items that we have in our Recycle On. Just because what's happened with foil is it's a little hard to kind of pull out of that mixed recycling because it's so light and gets compacted. So you can also collect a lot of that foil and stick that right in the new Recycle On. And out of that, Eric, you did such a great job. 7 out of 10 correct. C's get degrees.
Not you. That's about my college GPA. Those are tough, though.
They are tough, and that's why I'm here, so we can help those out there really learn a little bit more about what we can recycle and kind of the why behind some
All
of
right,
it.
so you brought some other things with you, some goodies.
I sure did.
And
I
I
love
need
looking.
to explain this for the people listening. Obviously, we're not a video podcast, and thank goodness we're not. We don't face for radio. But, yeah, you can hear those things. So explain to me, you got 2 separate bags here. We're going to kind of explain this for people listening. One recycle to know kind of like the game a little bit.
Well, it's a little bit like that. And really, it's more kind of two different bags because I use this in a lot of kind of the education. So people, because I find that tangible, hands-on, being able to see things really helps kind of get things solidified in your head.
Which is super important because you do a lot of this outreach.
I sure do.
So kids and probably even businesses and
Absolutely.
here's what you can do, and not people visual learners, right?
Yeah, and it's a great thing too that if businesses out there or even Deschutes County staff want to learn more about it, I'm happy to come in and help bring in my bags of garbage. And they are clean bags of garbage, so everything's clean. So here's one we didn't talk about, and it's a great one. And this is one that if you look on the bottom of that, Eric, what do you see? This is a cup, a plastic cup with a lid, and it's got a plastic straw in it that you would get a soda in from
it's
somewhere.
a food service. They give you the cup, and you go and fill it up yourself. And it's got the recycling logo on the bottom.
But it is a food service container meant to be kind of that single use.
Why, Jackie? Why are they printing these cups with the recycle logo on the bottom, clear as day here?
Right, and that recycling logo, that's an interesting one. I've been learning a lot about it in prep for a class that I'm teaching. It's called the Resin Identification Code. So it tells you what type of polymers have been used to create this plastic. And so in the plastic industry, there are 7 different polymers they use for all of the countless plastics. And really, we can recycle such a small percentage of them. And here's the difference. So I've got in my hand, what is this one? This one's a different one. But it also has the recycling symbol. So the one with...
We've got a yogurt container, looks like.
Yep.
And I would say, it does have that little recycling logo again on the bottom. But you're saying no-go on this.
Absolutely. That's what's so confusing. So, again, what we go through, and this is a big one, is thinking of it from plastic, because plastic is what confuses people the most. Is it a bottle, tub, or a jug? So with the single-use drink cup, it's kind of a cup, it's got a straw, it's got a lid. Would you call this a bottle, tub, or a jug?
Well, I would call it a bottle because it's built... it's got the same kind of plasticky as
as a bottle, which it's funny because it's made of the same material, but how they're developed in the molding process of it makes the polymer not as useful and not a commodity.
I would think the big challenge are these, again, not wanting to put anybody on blast here, but there's some of these cups like that fast food one that you just had that strictly say recycle me.
They do.
And it's the same thing as the one you just told me don't.
Exactly. And so that's what's so funny about it, right? And so they're starting to change this whole idea of like truth in recyclability. That recycling symbol was developed to show that depending on the circumstances, all plastics could be turned into something under the right environment. But we don't have those environments everywhere. We don't have all those environments in the state. And that's how we got into trouble, really, with the sense of sending our recycling all over to China. We're just sending them all our garbage. They're like, we can't take any of this stuff. So we're stopping. And so now in the States, we have to find our new markets of it and really decide what is the market value of it. So if it was like a Gatorade bottle, would you consider that a bottle, tub, or a jug?
Well, again, bottle.
Bottle. Now looking at this and comparing the two, would you still consider that a bottle? And this would be the cup,
the fast food
the
soda.
fast food soda cup.
It still feels closer to that than I would think the others.
I know, right? But think if it's meant for a single use, and again, think.
I guess it depends on what you're talking about in terms of tub.
Right.
Like I think tub. What your
Bubble bath?
Not that. But like your sour cream, your margarine, a tub of margarine. That's I guess where my brain
yogurt
goes.
And salsa. So those would be considered tubs, and those are great for recyclability.
This is
garbage. Yep.
Garbage, but it's not classified as one of the three, right? That's what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay.
So that's the one. Just think if you're getting a bottle, if it's something that it's shelf stable would be another thing, right? Is if I go into a fast food restaurant, they're just quickly grabbing a light plastic, quickly cup to send you so that you can drink your beverage, and then that is done and it's garbage. If you're getting something, right, you're getting, a whole case of Gatorades or something from Costco, those containers themselves, they're meant to just be stored for a while, and because of that, there's just the material's a little longer. It won't leach the plastic as much, and so that's what makes their material better. So when we're talking bottles, tubs, and jugs, we're thinking milk jug container, or some sort of water bottle or a drink bottle versus a drink cup, right?
Jackie, I know you and I could probably talk about this stuff for hours, but give me one in your bag here that I might be surprised that I can recycle.
Okay, and here's
out of your you're almost like Santa here with
I
your
totally am.
with your bag of goodies.
I sure am. So instead of wonderful toys or things you want, I'm giving you garbage and recyclables. Okay, so here are two surprises.
An
to
idea for your future thing. You should put those all in Santa bags.
Good. I will for the season. So these are two that also.
Okay, because I know which bag they came from. Yes, you can recycle
So,
those.
and then-
that is so. We're explaining these are kind of the tops, the 6-pack tops to a case of cider.
Yep.
Or beer or something along those lines, right? Like
Yep.
those plastic round, not the things that go around the top like we're used to seeing.
Right, not the ones that you want to cut up because you're worried
Right.
about wildlife getting
Wildlife.
into them.
These are
Which
the
is why they
tops.
changed them, right? So they're have been really redeveloped. But that plastic is still usable. When it gets into our mixed recycling, this and the lids for your yogurt, the lids for your sour cream and your salsa, those lids, once you throw them in your mixed recycling, they're so thin, they're going to get caught up between that paperboard and newspapers and things like that. So those are the ones that we've pulled out. We've said that these materials are still a good commodity, but they need to be source separated. So when recycling first started, right, you'd have to put your plastic in one bin, all your aluminum all in a different bin, and then we mixed everything together and made more problems, but also increased the amount people were recycling because it was easier with one big cart.
So yogurt was in the trash,
Well,
but the lid is in the recycle.
and so the yogurt container, that would be a yogurt tub. So that can go into our mixed recycling. The lid, right, would you consider this a bottle, tub, or a jug?
Well, no.
No, it's a lid, right? And the plastic for a six-pack.
But you pulled that out of the.
I like to mess with
You
you.
are,
It's
okay.
like
All
a little
right.
elf. But these
All
ones
right.
can now go to our Recycle On Center.
Well, you
So
know what I
whereas
have to say
before they
about
were
that.
garbage.
That's what I have to say about that.
So that's what's funny about these containers now too is before we're saying they're garbage, and they still are if you're just putting them in your mixed recycling. Don't put them in there. That they're not allowed to go in there, but you can bring them to our transfer station. So all those 6-pack containers you're holding on to, or those lids, again, you're going to have a separate space for it. But as I said, I've been amazed with how full they are. So people are really excited to start recycling these more.
Well, expanded options
Lots
for
of
hard
them.
to recycle options now at Not Landfill and the transfer stations in Deschutes County.
Exactly.
It's always helpful to have you here to explain your perspective on the work happening across solid waste. Thank you. I think these updates hopefully help people to understand. I understand a little bit better. I think I'm probably now a B student instead of a C student.
I like that. We all have to start somewhere.
But it's easier to it's helpful to understand what's changing and how they can do their part, right, to keep the bad stuff out of the landfill.
Exactly. And if you're a little confused, you can always call us. And our website does have the newer updates of what you can and cannot recycle. And I'm trying to get more images so that we have at least the visual cues.
Jackie Wilson from Deschutes County Solid Waste. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much, Eric. It's been great.
That's our conversation with Jackie Wilson, Community Outreach Coordinator for Deschutes County Solid Waste. The county's expanded recycling options give people more ways to keep hard-to-recycle items out of the landfill, and Jackie's work helps make those choices clearer for the community. If you'd like to learn more about the new recycling opportunities or see what items are accepted at each location, visit deschutes.org/recycle. We want to thank you again for listening to Inside Deschutes County. You can find us wherever you listen to your podcasts or at deschutes.org/podcast. But until next time, please be safe out there.